the most important 20% of the work will give you 80% of the results.
This is the Begin Within podcast, where we believe real, lasting health and fitness requires you to start inside before you work out. I'm your host, Nate Slegger, and I'm here to show you behind the scenes of fitness. You already know exercise is good for you, but what about all the other things in life that affect your fitness? If you're looking for extra motivation to get started or to make sure you keep going, this is the place for you.
Produced by BeginWithin.fit.
If you are working on getting healthier, losing weight, improving your fitness, whatever it is, but you have this feeling that you should be getting better results, you're just not sure what you might be doing wrong. Well, I want to tell you, you are not alone. And that is the very reason why I wrote my latest book, 5 Ways You're Wrecking Your Weight Loss, so that you can take a look at 5 of the most common reasons I see that people aren't getting the results that they deserve for all their hard work. Just 5 really quick fixes that can get you headed toward the results that you want. Check it out. You can download it by going to beginwithin.fit, clicking on the ebook button, or clicking on the link in the show notes. Check out my book. Let me know what you think. My guest today here on the Begin Within podcast is Lanell Beckles. He is a certified strength and conditioning specialist through NSCA, and he's worked with everyone from Olympians to professional athletes and more. He's also trained many different college sports teams, and he has a very interesting reputation in the fitness industry as the lazy biohacker. He wants everyone to do less and get more. I'm so happy to have him here on the show. There are a few things that I want you to listen for as we go through this interview with Lanell. We're going to talk about Parato's principle. So listen carefully. If you're familiar with that, we're going to apply it to health and fitness, and it has so many ways that it fits in. So listen carefully. If you haven't heard of it before, it is going to be a game changer for you. I think that's going to be the case regardless. We're also going to talk about some of those big things that can get you more bang for your buck. One of them, of course, we've talked about it many times here, is the food you eat. Listen for why it is so important to be cognizant of what types of foods you are choosing. And we are going to talk about working out. That is something, when we started this podcast, that was the goal, was to not talk about working out. Here we are. We're going to talk about it because I think it applies so well to this idea of the mindset behind getting better results by doing less. As we talk about working out in the interview, you can then understand how these things apply to your workouts. They're the principles, honestly, that Lanell's using, that I'm using as we work out ourselves. So I want you to benefit from those same methods so that you can get better results with less time and energy. So here's my interview with Lanell Beckles, the lazy biohacker.
Most people think that I work out a lot. So I'm a pretty fit guy. Fit as in I look better than the average person. But when it comes to actually getting into the gym and doing the amount of work that it takes, I just don't want to do it. Number one, I'm busy. I'm building a business. Number two, I don't live in the gym anymore. As a personal trainer, yeah, it was easy for me to be like, okay, I'm gonna cut off work. I'm gonna go walk 15 steps to the gym, and then I'll get a workout done. But most of my stuff is being done from home, and I don't have a home gym setup. And in fact, I don't really like home gym setups unless you have like a really good home gym. Have you seen Juju Mufu's home gym?
Mm-mm.
Don't
No,
mean to, don't mean to change the subject. I could do that.
no.
He has a big old warehouse with all these different machines and all these different apparati in there, and I'm just like, oh, that would be great. But for most people, we have a super modest setup where
Yeah.
maybe a few dumbbells, a bench, a few things, and it's just not the same for taking the place of a real gym where you actually can work out different body parts, where you actually can specialize in certain things. So for me, I kind of focus on the other things outside of the gym, eating quality food, making sure I go through breath work, making sure I actually expose myself to some sort of heat or cold, making sure I'm taking kind of the extra stuff. So I definitely get into more hormone replacement, but also peptides and supplementation in order to make sure that my body's working really, really well, which
Okay.
is what a lot of people don't really understand. So that's the lazy part.
Got it. Okay. So those are some of the things, if I'm hearing you right, those are some of the things that you have found make a, you get the most bang for your buck in terms
Yeah.
of like time investment.
Well, actually, the biggest thing that makes a big difference is actually eating foods that are good for your gut.
Hmm.
There's so much dogma around diet out there that people will say, "Hey, I should be going vegan." Did you hear about this celebrity? They went vegan and they lost all this weight. Or did you hear about this new master cleanse or whatever? And I'm on the opposite end where I think we are all individual. We all have a different individual biochemistry, so we need to adhere to that. And we're not going to do that by guessing the foods or going through an elimination diet. It actually comes from testing. So actually testing out your own gut microbiome and understanding what foods work for you is probably the first step. And it's one of the things that we do inside our company is we tell people, hey, take this gut test so that way we know what foods work. And so now we're going to take out the avoid foods, which are pretty much causing inflammation. It's not the same as it's not the same as an allergy test. It's more of a sensitivity test. But imagine just hitting that sensitivity on a regular basis. We don't really understand until we take it out and feel better. And then all of a sudden, now our body's out of inflammation. We start adding in really good quality food, some superfoods, and all of a sudden, we feel way better. So that's the big Pareto's principle about our company.
That's a big one. Yeah. And, we mentioned Parato a couple times. Could you just kind of explain the principle? I don't think in all the episodes we've had that we've ever actually talked about it, obviously in concept, but
Yeah.
tell us about what it is.
I'm acting like your audience understands. So Pareto's principle, the idea behind it is that most people think that they need to give 100% effort to get 100% results, and that's not really correct. You actually need to do about 20%. The most important 20% of the work will give you 80% of the results. Conversely, most people are doing 80% of the work that doesn't really matter, but only getting 20% of the results. And we want to do the 20% that's really hard. And usually it's the things that people don't really like to do, but really make a big difference. That it's going to give you the massive amounts of results. So that's the idea behind Pareto's principle, and it applies to all things in life,
Yeah.
even in business. There are 20% of our clients that give us 80% of the revenue.
Yeah.
20% of our clients that give us 80% of our reviews. 20% of our clients that will give us 80% of our headaches.
Right. Right.
We could go on down the list, and it's in every single industry. So I like to use that in business and in training to
Yeah.
help people understand what's important and what they need to just do away with.
Yeah. I don't think I 100% agree with how it plays into everything in life. I mean, I remember reading once about cleaning your house. Now, people spend 80% of their time cleaning, getting 20%, of the result. So they're like, if you could spend 20% of your time just getting 80%, that's actually all you really need most of the time. And
Yep.
it starts to transform the way you look at everything.
Mhm.
So, um, okay, well, that helps us understand a little bit better, I think, when you're talking about the game changer things that you found, are that they fall into that 20% of effort getting you most of your results.
Yep.
Um, so then you can be lazy.
And I say that in
I know,
quotations,
I love it.
as in because honestly, like when we think about all the messaging out there, most people want a magic pill. It's unfortunate, but there really isn't. But
Right.
there is some sort of like just stop doing all of this and just do this little small pieces. Yeah, it's not really what you want to hear, but it does make all the difference in the world. And I boiled that down into what I have in my system, and people love it. It's
Yeah.
simple. It's almost too simple. Sometimes people say that it's like this is just too simple, and that's what I want it to be.
Yeah. No, that's when it works, right? That's when you know you're onto something. I think when it feels simple. And I think as the creator, you you've probably been in those moments where you're like, this is too simple. No one's gonna even want it, right? Then you're like, okay, I'm on it. This is the real thing. This is the thing to offer.
Yes.
Um, when it comes to working out, and we actually don't usually talk about working out too much on this show because we're focusing on all the other stuff. But I think in this context of kind of organizing life and the behind the scenes of the 80/20 principle, I think that it applies really, really well. It's kind of it's more of a mindset type of a focus. But when you have that mindset using the principle we talked about, what happens with working out? I'm curious. I'm
You
curious
work out. Yeah,
to
you
know.
work out less. You work out way less. I was in the gym yesterday, going through my own workout, and I get a chance to see other people, and I'm always aware of what other people doing, and they always start where I usually end in my workouts,
Hmm.
which means that people start with like the smallest muscle groups, and we're gonna get to the nitty gritty. People start with the smallest muscle groups, the things that they want to really make an impact with their body, their arms, their butt. I want some more abs. They'll start there.
Calves. Yeah.
Calves, yeah, things that are really small. Instead of really focusing on the exercises, the big bang for your buck exercises that are gonna burn the most amount of calories. They're gonna have the most amount of hormonal changes. They're just really uncomfortable. Those are the things like squatting, deadlifting. Even a trap bar deadlift is way better than anything else out there. You're not gonna get the same effect from a incline back extension that you do from a trap bar deadlift. Dumbbell bench press. I think dumbbell bench press is way better than regular bench press, just because most people can't really handle each dumbbell at a time. They're still wobbly. So you
Mhm.
imagine connecting a bar between two hands and telling them to make it look like a professional bencher. It just doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
Doing some sort of lat pull down or even a pull up if they can handle that. Have someone do a pull up and the next day they're complaining about their abs. So when you start doing the things that really make a difference in your workout, you end up spending way less time. In our workouts, they should be in and out within 20 minutes. But most people, if they want to go traditional, they should be in and out within 40.
Hmm. Yeah. To have time to do all those little things that you're really excited about, right?
But
The bicep curls and stuff.
yeah, but the real thing, the thing is most of us have bodybuilders and um, like physique competitors
Yeah.
as our models, and those people are doing it for symmetry. Those people are doing it for to win competitions. The average person can get by off of getting bigger arms by just doing more pull-ups.
Right. Yeah.
It and they're hard, and you feel like you're gonna breathe. You feel like you're gonna breathe your guts out. But that's where I've gotten most of my results is squatting really heavy, uh, doing lots and lots of pull-ups, doing more dumbbell work. Like I don't do much barbell work with my upper body except maybe a military press, but I stick to more dumbbell work as a way to keep my shoulders healthy. And
Mhm.
as I've gotten older, they've
Yeah.
needed to stay healthy. So I make sure my workout does not go over an hour, which I think there's a bunch of research out there that says as soon as you go over an hour, your cortisol just spikes. it spikes and your workout actually gets worse.
Yeah. Could start doing more harm than good at that point. So
It does.
I I know before we started recording, I was like, hey, I'm not here to agree or disagree, but I want to just say I
Yeah,
agree.
please. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Sweet. Sweet. We're on the same late wavelength.
Yeah, this morning, same, exactly. My work, you described my workout. Were you watching me? No. You mentioned
I am
cortisol. Could we talk about that? I think, we have a few minutes. Could we
yeah.
talk about cortisol management? I know that's an important piece of what you do with your clients.
Yeah.
Maybe we could start with why is that so important? Why is it so important for us to pay
The
attention to that?
one I've polled a lot of people around the industry, new people who want to get in shape. The one area that everyone wants to get in shape, get a good result with is their belly. They
Hmm.
want to see their belly go down. They want to see slim and fit, and that actually correlates to the amount of cortisol or long term exposure to cortisol, which means that we're already stressed enough, and our bodies need to find a way to get more into repair and relax, so that way we can start to heal ourselves. Have you ever read the book "Why Zebras Get Ulcers" by Robert
I
Sapolsky?
you got to be watching me. I'm reading it right now. I'm like 60% of the way through.
Oh my God, isn't it the
Serious.
funniest book?
It is okay. So first of all, this
Yeah.
is like disclaimer. It's probably the longest book other than the Bible that I've ever read. But it is so interesting. Like all the studies, the rat studies, the
Amazing.
studies on monkeys. I'm just
Yeah.
like, mind is blown. I
Yeah.
read right before bed. I usually read for 15, 30 minutes. And I'm like, what? I want
Yeah.
to wake my
Yeah.
wife up. Like, you gotta,
You gotta see
this is
this.
crazy. Okay. Sorry.
It's all right. It's all right. Well,
Cortisol, go.
the next book that's gonna help you out there is "Why We Sleep" by Matthew Walker.
Love it. Yes.
That was a good one as well. But Robert Sapolsky is a neuroscientist, I believe, or a psychologist of some sort, and he wrote a book called "Why Zebras Get Ulcers." It has nothing to do with nature, but basically he's talking about why humans manage stress so poorly, and what the long-term effects are of stress.
Hmm.
And the findings are astounding. You're pretty much killing yourself by being exposed to cortisol on a regular basis. And most people are saying, well, I'll just go be a monk. However, it's not as simple as that. We can manage cortisol externally, and we can manage cortisol internally. The external factors come down to how well you're managing your environment, how well your home environment is, the way the materials that you're using, the skincare products, the personal care products. All those things are cortisol regulators, and you can definitely do something about that. Internally, what most people don't understand is that the food that you eat can increase cortisol. And this is the reason why it's very important that everyone gets a gut health test, because you could be kind of slowly inflaming yourself by eating the wrong foods. So imagine, having your friend tell you that you should be vegan, but pretty much broccoli, carrots, kale, cabbage are all on the foods that cause inflammation. It has happened to a lot of my clients. So once they end up taking that out, now your gut and your body doesn't naturally release cortisol and keep it in the system. It doesn't release it at all. So now you can go into rest and repair.
Got
So,
it.
for anybody out there who's trying to understand how to manage their belly fat, it does come down to managing your external environment, managing your food, and also making sure your workouts are way shorter. Making sure you actually get, really quick, almost hit-ish type of a workout, and then making sure you blunt cortisol quickly by eating post-workout within that 20-minute window, and that should help out a lot.
Mm. Awesome. Cool. Those are great tips. And I think everybody's like, ooh, work out less. That sounds great. When your workout is designed the way that you explained earlier, right? To get those big compound movements in to get the most benefit out of that shorter time, right?
Well, I mean, I think I looked up. There's only 11 specific body parts that you can work. and you can, if you split that over 2 days, you can get
Yeah.
5 body parts each day. And if there are certain body parts that you're not really interested in, you just switch out for another one. Most people, in my opinion, because we're sitting at desk all day, can do a lot more back work, a lot more mid back work, so scapular retractors. So most people don't really need much chest work. They'll get really
Right.
good results by just working the back to pull their chest back and emphasize more posture. But yeah, you can get by with just doing 5 exercises a day, superset them as well, or even put them in a circuit, and get in and out within 15, 20, even 30 minutes.
Yeah. No, I love it. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, we sit all day. Our front main muscles in the front are flexed all day. Back is stretched. We need to make sure in the gym where, yeah, we're strengthening the back, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
oh, I love it. What's Lanell? What's the best way for people to connect with you, follow your work?
Yeah, absolutely. I am on pretty much all the channels, at least Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. I was on TikTok, but that's not my style. TikToks are for the kids. But you can find me, Lanell Beckles, Lanell, last name Beckles. Hopefully, you should see this nice face. And then also, you can definitely go to my company and find it. I give a free masterclass for anybody that wants to figure out
Okay.
what the 3 biggest mistakes are that is stopping you from changing your body. And that's at Occam's Fitness. That's OCCAMS fitness.com. So
Okay. Awesome. We'll link to that one in the show notes for sure.
awesome.
And
Awesome.
people can connect with you. I don't think we're connected on LinkedIn, or I mean,
We
I'm sorry,
should. No.
Instagram yet. I'm on Instagram sharing stuff every day. So
Oh,
I'll
please.
find you there.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
definitely connect. I love seeing other people out there, and we'll share some stuff. Maybe
Cool.
even do a collab. Another
Awesome.
collab.
Lanell Beckles, thank you so
Yes.
much for being here on the show.
Thank you so much, Nate.
All right. Now we all know how we can be lazier and get better results, right? By using that principle. It's so very important. I'll make sure that there's a link in the show notes. It's waiting there for you for Lanell's website so that you can connect with him, follow his work, or do so on those social media channels that he mentioned as well. I want to go back before we close today and just talk a little bit about that 80-20 principle. 80-20 in our life. And remember how that applies. That principle basically, and it's been mathematically proven over and over again, that 80% of the results that we get from whatever it is come from 20% of the inputs. So as that applies to fitness, 80% of the results we get are coming from 20% of the time and effort that we put into those results. So the better we get at maximizing that 20%, at focusing on the right things to fit into that 20%, we're going to get those results much, much easier. And that's what this is all about. We've talked about that so many times. It has to be simple. It has to be easy. And when we get there, we can get results that last. We're not just making some crazy sacrifices for a short time and then going back to our old ways, or then just regular life takes over and we can't sustain those results. So what I'm going to invite you to do is to give attention to, and you can give attention to whatever it is you want out of life right now. If it's health, if it's fitness, if it's weight loss, and that's why you're here, then great. If it's something else, the principle applies. Take a look at what it is that you're doing and ask yourself, how might I get better results more quickly? What are some of the ways that I can hack this process so that I can get more with less? And of course, if you are looking for some help and guidance, people like Lanell and myself, that's what we're here to do. That's what we do for the people we work with day in and day out, helping them to find the easiest, the best path forward so that they can get better results with less, quite honestly. So I hope that you enjoyed that conversation with Lanell Beckles as much as I did, and I hope that it gives you a path forward from here or reinforces the decisions that you've already made when it comes to your health, your fitness, weight loss, whatever your health goals happen to be, so that you can continue on the path forward. I want to thank you so much for taking some time to be here with us today here on the Begin Within podcast. I want to ask you, please, as I do so often, rate and review the show in your podcast player so that others who are trying to get better results can find this show as well and benefit from the conversations that we have here. Thank you so much. I will talk to you again soon here on the Begin Within podcast.